That's right. Come on in, everyone. I'm here. We're just waiting for people to arrive. Sorry, I'm also finishing my dinner while we're loading people up. But it seems like oh gosh. Seems like we have a few people here though. So let's turn down the music. Actually wait, I gotta do this the other way. There, that way it's turned down for me as well. I think. Is that how it works? Still looks like it's high. Okay, we'll try that. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to BananaCast, number 25 apparently, of Titans and Robots, which I will explain right at the outset because this will be a spoiler cast for potentially the end of Attack on Titan, as we're gonna see here, based on some of these leaks. And also the end of Mr. Robot, which is a show that actually ended a while ago, but I just finally got around to finishing. So, to start, we have one comment in the chat from Sunset Shimmer. It has been a while since you've done a public stream. Are you planning one anytime soon? You'll have to talk to the others, to be honest. I'm not sure how the Patreon is actually, like, works or anything. If like Vermont or Kelly or one of them wanted to organize one of those, that'd be great. I'd be all for that. But for right now, I was just reading this this forum thread about these leaked articles, and I thought, you know, I'll do a random little shit posty stream. Why not? People can listen back on if they want. It's in the same vein as the Game of Thrones season finale stream that I did. Producciones. Game of Thrones season finale production stream I did almost 2 years ago now. I was actually thinking about that when I was thinking of kicking this off, and any thoughts I might have had on how that ended in retrospect now that we're 2 years after the fact. And pretty much everything I said back then was still pretty spot on, I think. I was very happy with what I wanted, which was a free North, and really just the collapse of of Jon Snow's character. Like, it was weird. Like, I was actually kind of happy he didn't have much of a good ending because I was so upset with how his character ended. Like, in the last couple like seasons, season 7 and 8, he just became a total, like, without using like a trigger word or buzzword or whatever, he kind of became just a simp for Targaryen in like the most disgusting way. I just couldn't stand it. It was embarrassing. I felt embarrassed just watching him say, "Oh, she's my queen." Like, dude, shut up. You're a Targaryen too, and finding out that fact made you stop boning her, and it was like, it was just embarrassing for everyone involved. So, I was happy that Sansa, despite her initial pretty princess personality as a character, she had growth. She had an arc. She had to go through suffering to eventually earn her right to rule based on, I don't know, her own personal suffering. And she didn't directly cause a lot of the heartache that the North suffered because of, like, her stupid brother and half-brother and other brother, who's like a weird, not really brother anymore, but like a demon sorcerer mind. Like, you know, the Raven, or no, what was it called? The Three-Eyed Raven, yeah. And I mention a lot of those things because a lot of them come up in their own ways. And what happened to Attack on Titan? Oh no. So a lot of the initial anger that I saw unfold after the big season 8 of Game of Thrones is kind of how I feel. So I guess this is the cosmic revenge. This is paths leading back to me and fucking bitch slapping me with the weird wormy guy. So, how do I start? I guess, like I said, spoilers for Attack on Titan, spoilers for, I guess, Game of Thrones, if you care, if anyone cares, and also spoilers for Mr. Robot, the very awesome show that everyone should watch, Mr. Robot, because I'm also going to be drawing comparisons to that show over the course of this monologue diatribe. Even if no one's listening, that's fine. That's what I'm here for. Okay, so to start, Season 4 wrapped up. Season 4, big fucking quotes on that. Season 6 wrapped up about what, a week ago? 2 weeks ago? In Japan. I've been watching the subs this season, so you all better appreciate it. I've been watching the dubs whenever they get posted on the stupid Funimation website, but you know, people are well aware that I am a filthy dub peasant, so I'm going to be commenting on the anime first, the anime adaptation of Season 6 first, which I believe is chapters like 90 through 109 in the manga, something like that. And really about the whole time jump in general, and like all the creative and writing decisions that went into how everything unfolded. I guess over the Attack on Titan narrative as a whole. Because it started so strongly. It started as the story of, you know, just these last humans on Earth trapped inside these concentric rings inside of a wall, and they're fighting this unimaginable force on the outside, just trying to force their way in and wipe them out. These giant, freaky Titan people, and no one really knows what the hell's going on. And then, you know, you start learning secrets. I mean, that was the whole point of the show, is you have all these fun secrets of what is the real truth, you know, where these Titans come from, what's beyond the walls. You have all these setups, like beautiful Armin there on Celestia. our golden-haired pretty princess now, but he's there for a reason. It's because he's one of the only winners of the series. Armin's dream, as the precious, innocent tactician that he is to see the ocean. He just wants to see the world beyond the walls. He wants to see the sea. Which is what we finally get at the end of Season 3, quote-unquote, end of Season 5. But it comes with a heavy cost of the rest of the series. So, quick recap. The entire show starts off with the Colossal Titan and the Armored Titan, who we later find out are these two assholes named Bertolt and Reina. Bertolt Hoover and Reina something. Braun, that's it, Braun. Who's related to an even worse character, who is a little girl who we meet in Season 4. And she's just fucking awful. So we have Berthold and Rhina, who no one knows are people yet, and they pop through the walls as Titans, and Colossal kicks a hole, and they let a bunch of normal, creepy Titans in, and then Rhina, with his armored Titan, runs through the inner wall of Shinganshina into Wall Rose? Is that the first wall? I think it's Wall Rose. Anyway, so that totally fucks all of humanity, because that's like, if you think of like geometry, like the outermost ring, even if the rings are concentrically have like equal distance between them, that outermost ring is like half of their area, of their surface area, square footage, farmland, grazeland for herd animals. You're fucked. Heyo from Russia. All right, I'm glad my abnormal schedule can include you in the in the conversation. Feel free to comment. I will keep checking the chat occasionally in between my monologuing. So. So all that happens episode 1, and we have some creepy flashes of this kid, Eren Yeager, who watches his mom get totally eaten by this Titan that has a really creepy smile. She gets eaten, and Eren Yeager gets run off with this homeless guy. No, he's like a soldier guy who saves him and his sort of adopted something or other sister-in-law? Question mark. Stepsister. It was like it gets so much worse. Named Mikasa. And I think it's once they get through into the inner wall and they're making their escape that they bump into Armin. I forget. I haven't seen the first episode in years. They escape and they watch Eren's mom get totally eaten by the Smiling Titan. I think that's actually her canon name, is the Smiling Titan, until we find out who she is. And once they go then there's like a time skip. That's the first time skip of the show, was right away from there to when they're like 10 or 11 to when they're like 14 or 15. There's 4 years pass. Tons of people die off because there's food shortages, and everyone's living within the 2 inner walls now. And, like, everything's going to shit. Maybe it's 5 years. Then 4 or 5 years later, fucking Titans pop up again! A Colossal Man and Mr. Armor Man pop up again. And they try to break open the walls of Trost District. At the time, Eren Yogurt and Mikasa and Armin have all joined the Scout Regiment, and they are all I think I'm fucking up this up somewhere. Anyway, they're scouts, and they have the ODM gear and stuff, and they're flying around, and they help save Trost from the inner gate being broken. Anyway. The outer gate is still open, but the inner gate, it, like, holds for whatever reason. I think it gets stopped up by that cart or something. Anyway, so Wall Rose isn't breached there. Not yet. And they save the day and stuff. And then, in the middle of the fighting, Eren Yogurt gets fucking eaten. Like, Titan just munches right into him, and Armin sees it, and he's just freaking out. And I don't think Mikasa is there to witness it. I think she hears it from afar or something. It might be at this point that we finally get the flashback of how they meet in the first place, which is when they're even younger. He's like 5 or 6, and she's like 5 or 6. And Mikasa's with her parents, with her mom, who is of whatever, Ackerman family, Asian, and then her dad, who is Eldian, which makes her, she's still Eldian. But anyway. But she looks distinct. The Ackerman family are very, very Asian features, which matters for the show. So, they both get killed, I believe, by robbers. And Mikasa is just, like, freaked out. And then Eren Yogurt, who met her, him and his dad met them when they were hunting or something. Just by chance, they go back there. and he sees her, and he runs in, and he fights the robbers who are about to kill her too, after killing her parents. And he's like stabbing at them, and I think they get a good stab at him or something, and that finally, like, something clicks in her, and she gets a knife, and she takes them out herself. Excuse me. But at the end of battle, when she's like totally traumatized, PTSD, just watch her parents get like gutted like fish in front of her, and then she guts the people who gutted them. You have little baby Aaron come up, and he wraps some random red scarf. I don't think there's any, like, I think he just happened to have the red scarf that day. Wraps a red scarf around her, and that's like foundational, obvious love moment. But stupid Aaron Yogurt is too obsessed with his whole, with, I don't know. Well, he's a kid at this point. He's not super obsessed yet. But anyway, he's a stupid kid. And instantly she's in love with him. First off, just like probably a childhood sweet thing. Like, you know, this very nice boy saved me. And when we killed a couple of guys together, this is pretty sweet. But then very quickly that evolves into something. Romantic feelings, sibling feelings. It's pretty complicated because they do adopt her. So you have that step sibling dynamic going on there. Anyway, so scope back to the present, quote unquote. Aaron just got fucking eaten by Titans, and I think she finds out when Armin yells. Like, there's one of those moments where, like, they zoom out and you're looking at the whole city of Trost, which is its own, like, it's a buffer city in between the outer wall area and the inner wall area. And Mikasa somehow knows, or she feels it, or she, you know, hears Armin, and it's very sweet and, like, romantic the whole time. And so she is coming, she, I think, fills up on her gas tanks and goes out to find out what happened and find Armin. And I believe he tells her, like, he's fucking dead. He gets eaten or something. And then out of nowhere, there's another bolt of lightning. They're like, oh shit, there's another one of the magic titans now, the abnormals. And an abnormal pops up in the middle of Trost, and it's this fucking big, freaky, like, elf-looking dude with big ears and green eyes and, like, a 2-level jaw, and he screams like a banshee. And he's ripped. Unlike, like, all the little titans are all, like, fat, pudgy, like, abominations. Armored Titan is pretty buff, and then so is the Colossal, but the Colossal's also skinned like a flayed man. But, the Attack Titan, the name of the show, is just ripped, and he just starts trouncing through Trost, ripping the shit out of all the little titans, all the regular titans, and everyone's like, what the fuck? Like, why is this one on our side? Like, no one has any idea what the fuck is going on. They're all at the castle in the middle of town trying to refill their gear so they can start flying around again. And this dude's just tearing through everything. And then at the very end, he meets his match, and they're, I think it is Mikasa, is like, he's helping us for whatever reason. So she goes in and she saves him, and stops him from getting wailed on by, I think, a 10-meter Titan. She kills that 10-meter, and then that thing goes down. But the Banshee Titan guy, he is also going down. And they start seeing all the smoke come out of him, and they're like, okay, it's gonna dissolve. But wait a minute, there's something down there. And they see something pop out of the back of the screamy elf Banshee buff Titan's neck. And who is it? It's Aaron Yogurt! He's a Titan! He's a Titan boy! And they're all completely freaked out and have no idea what the fuck is going on. And Armin's like, I saw, like, his legs and arm, like, fly off. They were totally bitten off of him. Mikasa is not thinking any of the details at all. She immediately zoomies down there, and she grabs him, and she listens to his chest, and she hears a heartbeat, and that's all that matters. And she just collapses into him, crying, and tears of joy and sorrow and complicated emotions. And it's like, fucking everyone can see there's something very deep there, except for fucking stupid fucking Aaron. So then, anyway, Armin zooms down too, and he sees, yes, his shirt sleeve's gone, and his pants and his boot are gone. So this is the very same Aaron Yogurt who had his limbs bitten off by the Santa Claus Titan. Or whatever it was earlier. And that's pretty freaky. And everyone else saw him pop out of the neck of this freaky Banshee Titan, and they're also freaked out, because this has never happened before. So, they find themselves cornered against the wall right as Aaron's waking up, and he's like, what the fuck is going on? And literally everyone inside of Tross has, like, their swords drawn, and they got cannons pointed at them. And you've got this one older leader, general guy who's just completely unhinged. Like, you're, like, surprised he hasn't fired anything yet, because he's looking at the dude like for what it was. Just he manifested this magic evil something out of him and became a scary big Titan man. I think he's cannon is 15 meters, which is one of the largest Titan sizes. Like, I think the armored is also 15 meters, and the colossal, of course, is like 60. And the walls themselves are like, fuck, what are the walls? I want to say 50. I want to say 50. How tall are Titan walls? Yeah, 50 meters. The reason I remember that is because I purposefully made the walls of Mare Island and Confessions of Wasteland Pony half that size. So they were 75 feet. So I'm like, okay, 50 meters. Anyway, so they're all like just guns on them, and they're just gonna completely turn all of them into fucking red mist in any second now. And you've got Mikasa on one side and Armin on the other, and they're just like begging, like, please don't kill us, please, we don't wanna die. That's an abridged series reference. And they're like listening to Armin, his desperate pleas of like, wait, you guys, you saw him like fight the little ugly fat Titans and stuff. But Mr. You know, middle management forces man is not listening, and he's like, a fire! And so someone fires a shell, and immediately there's another bolt of lightning out of nowhere, and a fucking half, like, of a rib cage and some meat just pops out of Aaron in a flash of steam and catches the shell, and the arm explodes. And of course, that just makes everyone even more freaked out. And including Mikasa and Armin, who are staring up out of the ribcage of this skeletal Titan that just magically appeared around them, which is also connected to Aaron's face through these long strands of meat or muscle or flesh of some kind. Okay, so middle management man is like, yeah, they're evil, so get ready to fire again. And then out of nowhere, this bald man with a mustache appears and catches middle management man's hand from sending another order. And we find out that this guy is one of the big guys. This is Dot Pixis, who's, I believe, the garrison commander of the wall defense people, the Rose people. Anyway, so he tells them all to chill the fuck out. And so they get Aaron out of the rib cage that is starting to dissolve now that it served its purpose. And they get up on the wall and they're like, what the fuck? And Aaron's like, I have no fucking idea what's going on either. And I don't think they know anything beyond that yet. I think his memory is completely blank. And Mikasa and Armin also have no idea what is going on, but they love their Aaron yogurt, and so they're gonna stick by him no matter what. And Dot's like, okay, sure, but this is also kind of a big deal, and they're totally going to execute you if we don't play this situation delicately. So I think the rest of the season is them being like, okay, where do your allegiances lie? what is going on. They move him out to a castle in like the middle of nowhere, like the boonies of Paradis, but they don't know it's Paradis yet. Island, Madagascar. and they move him out into the boonies, and he's like locked up, and he's under close watch by this other by a scout regiment lady who is also very a little bit unhinged or unhinged. Ha 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 ha. Hanji Zoe, who she's like I think second in command of their squadron of their scout regiment, the 109th Scout Regiment, under this blonde man named Ervin Smith, a different blonde man than Armin. And he is also level-headed, like Dot Pixis, who also doesn't want to just kill this kid who has magic powers, which could possibly turn the war. So they start doing experiments, and they figure out that part of the Titan ability manifested as a defense mechanism, because they fired a fucking cannon shell at him, and so he popped out that arm to catch the cannon shell like a baseball. Baseball becomes important later, because this is a Japanese story, and they love baseball. And so they do more experiments with like with the rest of the scout regiments, and there's like a spoon scene where he catches a spoon after his hand is all messed up and hurt, and freaks out everyone else who are just about to kill him. And then they're all sad, and they're like, okay, we should have trusted him. It wasn't him attacking us. It's very sweet. All of season 1 is them learning that he isn't actively like trying to hurt any of them. He's just completely unsettled by whatever this new power is that's inside of him, and he's just as clueless as they are. Except for one thing, which he does know about after getting grilled about by Hanji Zoe, which is this key that his dad gave him. And he's like, so in our basement is a whole bunch of answers to like everything. You should check it out sometime. And he has flashes of being taken into the woods by his dad, and that's about it. I think that's the end of the season. I forget how the season actually ends. Anyway, then season 2, aka season 1 part 2, another one of them pops up. So they already have these two weird titans who are just trying to kill them all, and then you have Aaron Yogurt, and then I think they launched the mission to retake the wall, retake the outer wall, Rose, or Cena, whatever. No, Cena's the inner wall. It's something Rose, and then I could look it up, but I'm not going to. And so they go out and in this really pretty formation with horses and carts and all this stuff, and they have to pass through these giant woods first. They just have to pass through to do their scouting to see how they can start like blocking up that wall. Oh yeah, they hatched the plan that Aaron, maybe it is with Trost. No. That Aaron, in his Titan form, can lift up a boulder and block the entrance and basically re-secure the wall. I'm probably going overboard covering this whole thing, but it's part of the process. We're going to come up to season 6 here and explain. Anyway, so season 2, then this other Titan appears, and it's a pretty lady. It's a blonde lady who, like, is very, like, all the other Titans are just these asexual, like, blobby, amorphous, like, they don't even really look like people with any distinct, like, gender characteristics or anything. But then you have this, like, just flayed, skinned lady who has even, like breast armor and everything. Like, okay, well, that's the female Titan, because what else would you call her? And she starts wrecking them. She just starts fucking kicking horses and wrecking them, except for one person. One person who... Are we even live? I don't know. Okay, so eventually they get back, lose a bunch more people, trying to capture her, and then coming back into the middle districts. They don't capture her. Everything goes wrong, but they feel like they're learning more about these Titan shifters, like Aaron Yogurt and her. And then when they get into the middle of, I think it's the secondary, like, it's not Tross. It's one of the other, like, security districts, I think. It's, I don't fucking know. Anyway, she pops up again. again, she pops up. And, oh, no. They flesh her out. They figure out who it is. Armin, in part, figures out who it is because of several very smart Armin tactician things. And they flush her out and try to capture her. And it turns out it's Annie, who is one of their very own Scout Regiment people. And she transforms, and then Aaron Yogurt transforms, and they both duke it out for a while. And the Scouts get involved, too, trying to cut them down before a whole bunch of civilian casualties happen. And they finally pin her on the ground, and as a last defense mechanism, she totally fucking seals herself in this, like, OP, like crystal ball. Let me find the picture. Fan art. I don't know if this person put their name on it. No, they didn't. Fuck. She fucking seals herself up in this, like, crystal, like, chandelier decoration. And, yeah, so they can't get her out. But at the same time, in the fight, when Mikasa is cutting her off of one of the walls as she's trying to escape, her glass diamond fingers pop off of the wall and cut away a layer of bricks. And what do they see inside all the walls that surround all of them? Another colossal titan. And that's how season 2 ends, aka season 1 part 2. And then next season opens, and they're like, what the fuck? Are titans in all of the walls? What is this? And so they talk to this guy. There's like a church inside the walls, and they have secret knowledge, like they're the fucking Illuminati or something. And they're like, yes, all the walls are full of titans. And other secrets, but they don't reveal those secrets, because the guy would rather die. And does eventually. Anyway, so they're all freaked out, but one thing he tells them is don't let the sun touch them or they'll wake up. And so they have to put a big tarp over this guy's face, the titan in the wall's face, before he wakes up. And so then season 2 cuts to another new group of people who are guarding Castle Utgard, which is in the second tier ring. And out of fucking nowhere, they get swarmed by a bunch of pudgy titans, regular titans. And they're like, wait a second, have they breached wall... I need to Google the fucking walls. What is it? Wall... I should probably also just read a description of the of the seasons, but it's more fun this way. Isn't it more fun this way? Walrose. Walrose is number 2. Yes. Stohess. That was the district that they fought in. Stohess. Okay, so with the whole Castle Utgard thing, randomly pops up inside of Walsina, and they're like, fuck, we're gonna lose another half of our farmland and everything. And so they start cutting them down, and these people are totally bottled in. And we meet some other recruits and scouts who end up there, including this really nice tall lady named Emir, and then this much shorter blonde lady named Krista. What is her name in that? Fuck. It's, anyway, it's not gonna be Krista for long. So at the end of the battle, they're getting slaughtered, and, in the middle of it all, the tall lady, Emir, gets hurt, and after taking some damage and having a purpose, she transforms also. She's one of the shifty titans, and ironically, she ends up becoming one of the tiniest little titans, but she's got these big, like, scary jaws, almost like a jaw titan. And she just starts wrecking some of the little pudgy titans, and they're like, what the fuck, you're a titan shifter too? And she's like, yeah? So, anyway... but the blonde girl, they totally love each other. They totally got a thing, and she gets pulled away, and a bunch of complicated shit happens. And then we find out that Berthold and Rhina are the Colossal and Armored Titan, respectively, and they go off with Emir, and they are successfully able to capture Aaron Yogurt. And they make it pretty far. They get almost to the outer Wall Maria before they get stopped. By basically a following force, which includes Mikasa, of course, because Mikasa had to go after her Aaron yogurts before he curdles. And they save him, and I believe it's in the process of saving him and Emir's final decision to leave Krista Historia behind, that he ends up finding the Smiley Titan that ate his mom all those years ago, and she's coming right at them, and he fucking punches her. And in the process of punching the hand of this giant Titan, there's this random thing that happens, and all the Titans around them suddenly just flip, and they start attacking the other Titan shifters, the three of them instead of the others, and everyone has no idea what's going on. So then we go into season 4, season 3, part 1, which is the coup arc, which is really badass. So they go into the capital city in the very center of the rings, and a whole bunch of stuff happens. Eventually, the whole military government is corrupt, and the king within the walls is a puppet, and the real royal family are these people called the Rices, and they find out that Krista, who is actually named Historia, and she is one of the Rices. She's a bastard who was raised on a farm, basically, to be kept out of their official lordship, noble family-like structure. So they use her as a way to get around them, and flip the government and make her queen. So now she's queen inside the walls. Queen Historia the historic. Yeah, and then season 5, part 2 of that is them like, okay, well now we need to starting to figure out more about the founding Titan, or the Titan control power. Like, Aaron starts getting more and more flashes of what his dad had told him, and some more random flashes that he doesn't quite understand where they're coming from. I wonder how much of this is all wrong. Anyway, so they're like, okay, we need to stop this Rod Rice guy, because he's got some kind of power, and he's trying to turn Historia into the next royal founding Titan shifter, and that's going to totally screw everything up for everyone if she can eat him and also eat Aaron, because it turns out that he has the founding Titan and the attack Titan, both of which were stolen from the families by his dad, Grisha Jaeger. And anyway, so they go through all that battle, and they win. Historia takes their side, and she becomes queen later and stuff. But they try to stop Rod Rise, and then he licks the Titan serum, and he becomes a whole freaky abnormal, like this biggest Titan ever, who's like 100 meters long, and he can't even stand upright. Hello, DJ Pyrotechnics. He can't even stand upright, so he just crawls along his belly, which always just shaves off his face and part of his stomach and everything. And so part of stopping him is what gets her to become queen as well, because she has to prove to the people that she's for the people, and they're a more just government than the puppet king, the Fritzes. So she ends up laying the killing blow on her own dad, which is really badass, and she becomes little badass, scout queen within the walls. And they basically just overthrow the whole government and install a junta, military government. But she's still the queen. But she's the queen in the way that a lot of military governments have a king or queen. And then that's right. Then the season 5 arc is them okay, we are going to reclaim Shinganshina, which is that first outer city from all those years ago that got totally wrecked. And we're going to plug it, and we're going to cleanse the inside of the walls of Titans so that we can actually start moving people back out and reclaim more of our human territories. So they make the move. They go to Shinganshina, and then in the process of all this, there's a Monkey Man. Monkey Man becomes important later. They have to fight him, actually. Once they get to Shinganshina, then they plug the inner wall first, with Aaron gets a hard-hitting ability. He gets very, very hard, just like Annie does. And that plugs one hole. And he's about to do it with the other, but that's when Monkey Man appears on the outside, as well as Rhina and Bertolt as the Colossal and the Armored, to try to capture him, because they really, really need that Founding Titan back from Eren, or just back from them in general. And all these battles ensue. Ervin Smith, who's actually an important character, but I gloss over him because I didn't care too much about him. Like, I understood all of them as characters, but it's like, there was one main set of characters in the whole fucking show, and it was... Where's my image folder? It was these three. It was always Mikasa, Eren, and Armin's story until it became pig shit. It's always their story. So I only cared about the other people so far as it involved their story, because that's the payoff I want. Same as Game of Thrones. I'm like, this is the story of the North giving the finger to the South, because fuck the South. South of, Westeros specifically. But anyway, it was always their story. I like Levi, he's neat, sure. I like Erwin, he's neat. His story is probably the neatest that's not of the prime of the Trinity here. But then in season 6, she gets completely downgraded, almost completely. And so we'll talk about that too. So anyway, at the end of season 5, they go after Monkey Man. Ervin Smith dies, and they're like, okay, are we going to save Ervin Smith with this Titan serum we got earlier? Or are we going to save Armin, who gets fucking roasted by the Colossal Titan? And we have the Colossal Titan, so we can turn one of them into it and, put 13 years on their clock, so to speak. But they don't know that yet. And there's this big debate, and there's all this emotional and whatever, and a bunch of Ervin Smith fans are still mad that Armin got it in the end, but of course Armin got it in the end. Look at that hair. It is so much more blonde and luxurious than Ervin's. Of course he would end up getting the serum. And for all the other reasons, him being a tactician and stuff. I'm sorry, Ervin didn't deserve the serum. And I will hold to that opinion, even if that makes me an outlier in the community. In this community, which isn't going to exist in about 6 months, because the ending of the show is going to completely dissolve it like fucking hydrochloric acid. Okay, so Armin gets it, and Armin becomes the Mr. Tallman Titan, the Colossal Titan, and that saves his life, so that he can lust after Annie later. So that brings us to season 6, aka the final season, aka the second to final season, which just got done airing in Japan, and then also the dubs have been releasing on the Funimation website. So now we'll go episode by episode and talk about why the show is quickly disintegrating. So I'm not a fan of basically any of the plot lines of the new arcs. So the big reveal at the end of season 5/season 3 part 2, a whole bunch of reveals, their little world, they're wondering what the world is outside of the walls. Oh, okay, so it turns out that they are actually bottled on a very tiny island, and there's a much greater world outside of the walls that is completely continued to evolve and advance militarily and had their own wars, and there was a whole bunch of other distinct races and peoples and groups, and all of them have just they've all had to contend with the Titans of a whole different place called Marley, which is a giant continent that's a little ways away from their little island. And turns out Marley is this whole underclass, this whole race of people that were an underclass of the Eldians, which they find out they are. And they are all subjects of Ymir, which is the mythical source of all the Titans, was the first Titan lady, who eventually split into 9 Titans. But the founding power is still the key to everything. So the Marleyans, they eventually, stopped the Eldians and drove them off to their little island. So, how does Season 4 end? It turns out Season 4 opens kind of the way that the original season opens, but from their perspective. So this is now that we had the big reveal, a big reveal of the outer world beyond the walls, which is something that was being built up for many years in the manga and then later the anime. Is this whole thing of, oh wait, actually, all of the Titans are people, not just the shifty ones, but they were all people at one point or another. And the shifty power is just like special, like you just happen to come back from being a Titan. Why are you calling it season 6? Because it's season 6. There's 6 12 to 13 episode seasons, and then a 7th coming out next year. I hate this split season thing. If it doesn't literally take place in the same season, let alone the same fucking calendar year, it is not one season. It's bullshit. Anyway, that's my own personal opinion, and most will disagree, and they're wrong. Anyway, so season 6 opens with the warrior unit, big quotes. We find out they are part of basically Marley's like ace in the hole. Marley has defeated the Eldians and driven most of them off to Paradis Island with their founding Titan and most of the others, but Marley has quite a few of the Titans still within their control, including Monkey Man Titan, which is the Beast Titan, the Jaw Titan, which they reclaimed by capturing Ymir, and they gave her to this other guy who just ate her up. The Cart Titan, which is this nice lady named Peak? I think it's Pick. I forget how they pronounced it. Anyway, I think it's Pick. Anyway, and then Reiner's back, who's still the Armored Titan, but he's basically just waiting for his death day. Because as it turns out, one of the big reveals in the basement, in the yogurt basement, was that all Titan shifters have a death clock hanging over their head. As soon as they gain their power, they got 13 years to do it, and then they just have a fuck you seizure aneurysm and die. And then the Titan randomly spawns in some Eldian somewhere. I forget if it's like from birth or like randomly, but yeah, happens somewhere. Yeah, so Marley has basically set up this whole system of the Warriors, which is a group of Eldians who are like the most submissive and the most like trying to prove themselves to Marley, even though they're still like, they're not even a second class of people. They're like a fifth class of people. Like, barely one step above, like, chattel slavery. And they're just all doing it just to prove themselves. Like, we're the bestest. We're the nicest boys, we swear. And they do all this fighting for Marley, and they have all these wars that we haven't seen, because it's been like 100 years. But based on the analogs to the real world, you can assume it's the 19th century that they're just wrapping up. So you have all the fun wars like the, I guess colonization wars, and the Franco-Prussian War, which is whatever in this world, the Marley and something war. And then now, once the whole Paradis Island thing failed, and they come back empty-handed with the founding Titan, another war kicks off on the heels of their defeat, and they end up in quote-unquote World War I. And then one of the final battles we see in the first episode is them defeating the Ottoman Empire, basically. This round, very Middle Eastern-looking fort and, like, Turk hat-wearing people group. So, seems obvious. Anyway, they do win with the Titans, but just barely. Literally just barely. And they almost lose all the Titans in the process, because technology has now reached the point where Titans are almost obsolete. It's like their little magic powers can't beat science, Science 1, God 0. Founding what do they call it in early seasons? The source of all organic life, 0. Anyway, with just a little bit of like seal, basically. So technology is rapidly, like, advancing to basically make the Titans totally obsolete. And they know it. So they know they need to get the founding Titan ASAP in order to boost their skills until they can diversify their military even more so. So we can assume that Marley is already behind the rest of the world militarily in that sense, because they've leaned so heavily on the Titans. So even their relative military superiority to the Eldians, who are still stuck like basically 100 years ago in terms of technology, it's a big gap. And so we start following on a group of warrior candidates who are like little kids, like 11 something or whatever, like Aaron and Orman and Mikasa in one of the early episodes of season 1. And all the good kids end up dying really early on, like Zofia and Yudo. What's his name? Falco. Falco is nice. He's a good kid. He deserves to last a while. Gabby isn't, though. I'm not gonna hide this. Gabby's fucking annoying. I know she's like the Eren equivalent, and that just makes it much, much worse once we reach the end of Eren's story. Cause it's just like she just wants to be the goodest girl. I can prove that Eldians are not bad by killing as many Eldians as I possibly can. Like, okay, bro, good luck with that, you know. Yeah, they'll totally let you live at the end. Yes, that's a good plan. Anyway, so she's part of the team that helps stop the Ottomans or whatever, and they beat the Mid-East Allied fleet with the help of the Beast Titan and all those as well. Oh, and then we are introduced to the Tiber family. The Tiber noble family, and they are actually Eldian. They are racially an Eldian family, but they were part of basically an Eldian noble house that went to war against the reigning Eldian Empire and helped the Marleyan underclass drive them off of the continent onto parity. And the Tiber's main claim of power is the Warhammer Titan. But at the same time, they're also like the Illuminati, and they like control the strings of the government and stuff behind the scenes. Oh gosh, it's kind of ridiculous. It's a lot of equivalents you could draw of the Tiber family. But anyway, that's what's written. Don't look at me. Anyway, so they decide they want to reach out to the rest of the world and prove that they are also good Eldians, because they're already like, everyone already loves them. Like they're the bridge basically for the entire race, that they are the goodest boys, and they're also very powerful. And so they invite everyone into an Eldian ghetto, basically a ghetto city of Liberia, which is just where they keep all the Eldians, and if Eldians try to leave without permission, then you get killed by dogs. So that's great. Or guns and anything, basically. So they invite like all these like very high-ranking like ministers and military members and ambassadors and everything from all these other nations around the world into Liberia. And the Tibers know something's about to go down, and the people who are about to make things go down know something is about to go down, but it all still goes down. So Reina is like, he becomes Mr. Babysitter after a while, and he's watching the kiddos, the other warrior candidates, including Gabby and Falco. And eventually, him and Falco get stuck at the bottom of the room with this guy Falco's been talking to for a while named Mr. Kruger. And as soon as Reiner sits down in the room with him, he's like, oh fuck, it's Eren. And there's this look of like, I have made many mistakes on his face. And there's a really great, I mean, this is kind of the peak of the arc of the sense of, it's comeuppance, it's vengeance for what happened at the beginning of the series, and B, it all is also this storyline about like the perpetuality of violence, because the whole idea of the Eldians being this like borderline slave class ghettoized people is because they did that to the Marleyans for such a long time. But even then, when the Tibers come on stage, they basically reveal the true history of the Eldians voluntarily retreating to Paradis to, like, free the world from their cruelty. And that's the King Fritz? The first king behind the walls. Whole idea. So, we're introduced to this concept of false history, which is an interesting angle to take. And it kind of then would almost open up into doubt, like, well, is Marley being true about, like, were they really just as suppressed under the Eldians as they're doing to the Eldians now? We don't know. Or maybe we do from the manga. I don't know. But I haven't read the manga. We're gonna get to that anyway. So they're all in Liberia, and Aaron doesn't know that either. So he's like, "Why did my mom have to die, Rhina? Huh? Why did my mom have to die? You should know what's coming." And Rhina's like, "Please just kill me." And he doesn't, which he really should have just killed him there. That would have been really awesome. But Aaron activates, and he becomes the Elf Titan again, and he immediately eats the main Tiber guy. What's his name? Willie. Fucking Willie Tiber, right off of the stage, and starts just killing everyone in the crowd, all these military people and ambassadors from the entire world who are there basically to bear witness to the Tibers trying to basically speak on behalf of their people. And then one of their people pops out of the ground and just kills them all, including all these other innocents and of their own people in Liberia, this giant ghetto city. They get wiped out. And then in the middle of it, a whole bunch of other shit happens. You see a blimp come in, and a bunch of the scout regiment from Paradis pop in. And this is all 4 years later, by the way, from the end of season 5. Scout regiment pops in, and they've got regular guns for killing regular people rather than titans. But they've got their titan swords too, because they're good with those. And one of the Tibers, like, I forget who she is. I think she's his sister or a maid or something. Sister Tiber, she transforms into the Warhammer and starts wailing on Aaron the Elf Boy. And she does pretty well for a while, but eventually Aaron gets keen on what her deal is and pulls the umbilical out of the ground, showing that she is also in a kind of glass container in the same way Annie is. The same way Annie is back on Paradis. And he can't get it open. And then there's another one of the Marleyan warrior titans going around, and he's the new Jaw Titan. He's the guy that ended up eating Emir all those years ago. And so he almost gets Aaron, but Levi pops in and cuts his jaw tendons, so he can't bite Aaron's nape. And so he gets the jaw off of him, and he ends up getting the jaw around Lady Tiber's glass case, and just cracks it. And then he drinks Lady Tiber's juices, and now he is the Warhammer Titan as well. So that's like 3 Titans up in there now. You've got Attack, and Founding, and Warhammer. And so once that's done, she's totally gone now, and Jaw Titan is on the run, and Mikasa is there as well. Mikasa, as well as their whole scout team that we've been following for all these seasons. And then Armin finally gets to put his tall boy power to use. And so he hops down in the middle of their big naval harbor and just transforms. Because a big side effect of the Colossal transforming is just the area destruction that happens when that rapid transformation happens. And so just by transforming in the harbor, he wrecks like their entire fleet in port. And then I forget if he does some kicking or not too, or he just transforms. Anyway, so thanks to Colossal Armin, they don't really have ships anymore. And they mess some stuff up, and they almost kill Pike, and they almost kill the Jaw Titan. And then they do kill the Beast Titan. And then they retreat to their airship and start running away. And then little Gabby, the goodest girl, the bestest Eldian serf, she ends up getting onto the ship and shoots Sasha right through the stomach. And it's not something you can recover from sometimes. There's a lot of blood. There's a lot of other stuff happens. Sasha's gone. Everyone's crying. They're all freaking out. Except for Aaron, who's like, you can already tell Aaron has like the same kind of face as we saw in Mr. Three-Eyed Raven. Fucking, what are their names again? See, I've already blocked so much of Game of Thrones out of my mind at this point. The, Stark family. Fucking, I don't know. Creepy Stark. What the hell was his name? Brandon Stark. How he's just like, there's almost no humanity left in him. He just looks like a creepy detached. Everyone else just hears him as like randomly. Oh, did we lose power? Did we lose power? Come on. Come back to us. Come on! Restart. Come on, are we back? Someone type in the chat if we're back or not. Oh my gosh.
No one thinks a natural disaster is...
Yes.
No one thinks a natural...
Okay, I think we're back. It's just not showing me that we're back. Okay, sorry about that, guys. The studio thing is screwed up. Anyway. So it makes sense in the scene when you hear the joke that sets up his laughing, but to everyone else he just starts like, Sasha's dead. And just the worst, most awkward laugh. Anyway, so yeah, he's a sociopath. And they get back to Paradis, and in the course of all the discussions, he is also quote unquote arrested in this process. Because we find out that this was all like a scheme that he set off. Oh yeah, and then they capture the kids and beat the shit out of Gabby and Falco when they capture them. Which is unfortunate for Falco, because he didn't really do anything wrong in this case. But for Gabby, it's very visceral and very nice payoff. Anyway, so they drag the kids to the front and they're like, hey look, Monkey Man Titan's alive and he's on our side, LMAO. And so that totally breaks both of their spirits. And they're like, what? You've been a traitor this whole time? And I don't think he says anything to them. He just does the whole, like, anime glasses glare thing. So that's a big reveal. And then we find out more reveals over the course of the next episodes where it's like, okay, so Aaron basically disappeared on his own and went to Marley and started putting together some kind of plan. And then he sent a bunch of fucking letters back to them somehow. About like, here's what we're gonna do after working out this plan with his brother, with Monkey Man Titan, Zeke Yeager, a yogurt. And they get the plans and they're like, well, fuck, we need to get Aaron back no matter what, because he's like all of our nuclear technology all in one person, basically. And so like, we need to get him back, so they just go along with it. They have to. And so they really don't forgive him for like, you got Sasha killed for basically pulling this shit on your own without really consulting any of us on any of this. And they totally don't trust Zeke at all either. So they have him stored and jailed separately. And then we start getting more flashbacks on what's actually happened on Paradis Island ever since they hit the sea and get the truth of the Titans. And it turns out very early on, as soon as the others retreat, Marley sends a scout ship back to the island to see what the fuck is going on. And as soon as that scout ship lands in their harbor, it gets picked up by Aaron Yogurt and lifted into the desert right off of the docks and dropped down. And then it turns out that that scout ship was one of Zeke's early plans. It's all full of Marley, like, separatists who believe in Eldian restoration. And so they slaughter the loyal Marleyans, and you have this very nice, very tall lady named fucking Yelena. And then you have, I forget his name. I don't want to pronounce his name wrong. What is it? Come on, where is it? It's O something. I know it starts with an O. Okay, Onyan Capone? Oh, I'm gonna call him Oni for short. Oni. Oni is there as well. He's a kind of, major side character. And then you find out that one of the people in the military, one of the biggest Jaeger supporters, Jaegers, as they end up becoming called, is this other guy named, is it Falco? No, Falco's the kid, right? Oh, fuck. I've screwed all of this up. No, Falco's the older guy. Damn it, what is his name? As you can tell, this is totally rambling. rambling stream, but we're coming to the leaks. This has all been a build-up to the big leaks that have been happening. Is it Niccolo? No, Niccolo's the chef. Nickelodeon. Sasha, Armin, Hanji, Jean. What the fuck is that guy's name? Laura. He's like the main Jaegerist. Not King Fritz. Oh my god. Fuck it. You know who I'm talking about. The orange-haired guy. Anyway, so they have they really want Aaron freed because they're like, why did you arrest him? He's just like, he just totally Pearl Harbored those guys, and that there's no way that can go wrong. And then all the rest of them are like, he forced our hand. So now we have no other options on the table because he's sort of like forcing us to go with this Jaeger brothers plan. And a lot of people do want to go with the Jaeger brothers plan, but the military technically doesn't, so they decide to kill the military. They launch a bombing on Premier Zachary, who's like the big boy in charge. Flock, that's it, Flock, fuck. Big boy in charge, Zachary, they just blow his office up with him inside. And so Commander Pixis takes over, the bald guy from very early on. He becomes the new premier, and he's kind of like, okay, we'll talk to the Jaegerists, but we're kind of bottled in, and we don't want to start a civil war right as a world war is about to come down on us because of the Jaegers. Like, yeah, they forced our hand, but this is the situation, so we kind of probably just have to go with it. So these early Marleyan separatists, basically, or the pro-Eldian Marleyans, such as Yelena and Oni and stuff, they worked with Flock and the other Eldians on the island that are like the Jaeger zealots to get Monkey Man's spinal fluid into the wine of the military members. And so just by drinking a little bit of the spinal fluid, they're basically like dosed now, so they can be controlled by Monkey Man's like scream, basically. He's got like a Titan scream. And part of it is because he's because he's of royal blood, because Smiley Titan was actually Dina Fritz, which is a royal house family. And where did we leave off? Oh yeah. So Zeke is trying to escape, but he's under capture by Levi, and it costs Levi's entire squad, but he is able to stop Zeke for the moment anyway, when Zeke tries to escape and join Aaron Yogurt and the other Jaegerists. And then at the end, they also find Pick and some other people in the parody government building when they like are taking hostages. And right around that time, Pick and her friends, they're all coming in airships from Marley to basically like revenge/attack, like a first strike against Paradis before they can fully mount an offensive with Zeke and all of them planning together. Anyway, so in the middle of all this in season 6, in season 4.1. We also have this subplot of one nation called the, I don't know, it's fucking Japan, of the Japanese coming over and wanting to work with them in exchange for the magic rocks that power the ODM gear, which they just kind of declare magic after the time shift, I think. Beforehand, it just seemed like it was some kind of gas, like pressurized gas, but now it's magic, like the things that power the magic steam thing in the Steam Boy anime. So they want those, basically. They want exclusive rights to a precious resource so that they can have an edge on their neighboring countries as well. And they're like, we don't really care about the Eldian, the Eldian question or anything like that. But unfortunately, part of that negotiation is like, is basically they find out that the Royal Blood and the Wall Titans are all connected together with the Founding Titan, and basically using Historia, they would basically, they would have to make her like a breeding sow, and she would have to produce heirs just to make sure that the royal bloodline continues on indefinitely, so they always have this nuclear option of the Rumbling, which is releasing all of the giant colossal titans in the walls to trample the world if anything ever threatened the Eldians on the island, which is basically has been the original threat for all this time, was that King Fritz, the king on the island, would trample the world if they ever tried to attack Paradis. But then, of course, after enough attacks on Paradis, they realized, wait a second, they aren't doing this rumbly thing. And it turns out that the reason for that all this time before was that the Rice family, which was that royal house within the walls rather than outside of the walls, had been dominated by the ideology of the first king, Frederick or Fritz or whatever. Fritz is the house name outside of the walls, so maybe it's Frederick. Anyway, and he's just a total pacifist. He's not going to launch the rumbling no matter what, because it is basically a genocide machine for everyone else. Like, they all want to genocide the Eldians, and the Eldians have this kill everyone else button, basically, that they'll never use. But now there's a possibility, because Aaron controls the Founding Titan, and his brother Zeke, Monkey Man, has royal blood, and also knows some details about Eldian, like the Children of Ymir thing that pretty much most other people don't know, because his predecessor, who was a Beast Titan, was like basically a historian, an Eldian historian, and he told Zeke at one point about a time in history when there was a great plague, and one of the kings used the Founding Titan to basically rewrite Eldian DNA to make them immune to the plague. So a bunch of other nations got totally devastated, and they were mostly fine afterwards. So knowing that the Founding Titan can globally rewrite, like, biology of Eldians, Zeke comes up with this totally cool plan of, what if we just all kill ourselves? What if we all just make the entire Eldian race sterile, and then we just self-castrate as a people and slowly die off and disappear into the sunset? Which is totally not how it would happen. Even if they initiated it, it would be like, as soon as all of them were over age like 40 and they were all elderly and weaklings or whatever, like, the rest of them would probably just get slaughtered anyway. Or they'd be, left to the elements or whatever. They'd still be in all these ghettos in Marley and these other places. Totally psychotic, completely crazy and unbalanced plan. But that is the plan. And the Jaegers know this, and they're totally cool with that, I guess. Because they, or at least Yelena knows it. And I think she explains it to some people at the end of the last episode. And I believe Aaron knows it too, and they're all like, yeah, that sounds really good. I hate the fact that I was born into this world, and this world hates us and stuff, so death is a good option, and we're going to enforce that death on everyone who could ever exist from now on. Like, okay, bro. That's totally not psychotic at all. So that's their plan. That's the Jaeger plan. Pretty much everyone else doesn't want that plan, but at the moment, at least in the anime, the Jaegers are together, and they've got a big platoon of people, and they control a lot of the government as well. So now we see what happens. Now everything else I only know because of the manga, like, discussions going on in various Facebook groups and threads and everything like that, about, like, what continues on after this point, where it looks like the Jaegers continue on for a while, and they decide they're going to kick off the rumbling at some point anyway. Like, I think Aaron wants a more direct attack on everyone, and he decides he doesn't want everyone to just like die out. He actually wants to destroy all the Titans, or defeat them, or rumble the world, or supposedly one of the ideas is that he basically makes himself out to be the greatest villain, so he can let all the other Eldians prove that they are the goodest boys by killing him. And that's totally fucking stupid and crazy and totally not gonna work at all, but he totally believes that, and so does Zeke in some ways. And it's like, oh yeah, if we just be really nice and we kill Aaron and remove the power of the Titans and all this stuff, no one's gonna hurt us at all. They're gonna think we're friends and that we're allies, and it's totally fine. fucking stupid. So anyway, and this has been more or less the leading ideology up until the second to last chapter, which is the founding, which is the rumbling is happening. Like, most of the planet is getting totally wrecked right now, and they are trying to stop Eren from committing global genocide. Which includes Mikasa and Armin, and Mikasa hops in his giant founding titan's mouth, and spoilers again. This whole stream of spoilers. Cuts off his head and is like holding his dying founding Eren yogurt head. And in this process, they have like some kind of stream of consciousness, some kind of like coma dream, small life together. He gives her some kind of whatever. There's like a homestead cottagecore thing going on. Very sad and ridiculous. And then it ends with her kissing his decapitated head. And it's just like, oh man, it's fucking sad. And so then we have to have his resolution with Armin, which is the very final chapter, which is the one that just leaked. That leaked in the last couple of days, and now that the internet at large knows what's in the leaks, they are not happy, and neither am I. I'm not going to post the images from the leaks because I hear like that they're getting very upset that this leaked out early. But I will post one clipped image, and this is the only image that matters. Which is Armin fucking decking Eren for putting us through all this in the first place. So where do we begin? Because the leaks make pretty much every storyline like really upsetting from the perspective of an audience that has followed this for a long fucking time. So the manga has been out since, I think, 2010. The anime has been out since 2013, which is when I discovered it, right when Season 2 was airing, as in the Female Titan arc, Season 1 Part 2. Ever since that was airing and getting dubbed, so I've been hooked on this for a while too. Like this was a creative inspiration for me since Confessions 4, The Engineer, the whole walls around the island, and then fucking Sandstone and Carmina and Armature being like very thinly veiled translations of Eren, Mikasa, and Armin, as I've said numerous times in the past. So seeing it all end like this is very, very disheartening, and I feel like the way I assume most of the Game of Thrones people felt 2 years ago. I can't even think of prettier music to put on at the time. We're just gonna leave this on, which is what music has been playing this entire stream. This has been relaxing Japanese Zen music, TAC. Best sleep music and peaceful music from the Soul of the Wind channel. Thank you, Soul of the Wind. It's so nice. It's such nice music. So almost the whole chapter 139 is him discussing with Armin, like walking Armin through his entire thought process and all of the things that he learned as the founding Titan that led him to his decisions. And they're all bullshit. Eren, if I wasn't aware of how this would end, you guys stopping me, I still would have reduced everything in this world to dust. I've annihilated most of the forest, and in a few days, this land will be filled with insects and have grown fat on carrion. The insects are going to eat all of your corpses. It's so lovely. I wanted to turn all the earth into a brand new land, but why? I don't know. I don't know why, but I wanted to at any cost. Oh, fuck. So even the freedom narrative, which was the entire cause since the start, was freedom from the oppression of the Titans. Now Eren, as King Titan Man for the last couple of comic chapters, is like, I don't really know. I just kind of wanted to do it at any cost. And then we see a ghostly image of Grisha Jaeger being like, Eren, that's your name. Which I'm guessing he's referring to Jaeger, which is like warrior in Eldian or German, whatever. So there's that. I'm literally just scrolling through clips that have been leaked on image boards, and we'll get to the worst one ever soon. Then there's one talking about a conversation that just aired in season 6, season 4, part 1, where Eren, like, he comes and he's got all his Jaegers protecting him, and he sits down with Mikasa and Armin almost by themselves, and then fucking Gabby is sitting in the back of the room just watching all this after Mikasa saved her ungrateful ass. And Eren's like talking with them, just like kind of like, yeah, so I'm the bad guy, duh. and then he decides he's just gonna like wail on his two best friends in every way that he knows would hurt them the most. So he starts off by totally insulting Mikasa and saying like she's a slave and she's always had a slave mindset, and he hates everything about her and hates the way she followed him around since they were children, and it just, every word is just cutting deep into her soul. Every single word is like a knife from those robbers stabbing into her with Eren's words. And eventually, like, very quickly, within like 10 seconds, Armin's like, what the fuck? Shut up, you monster. How dare you say these things? And then Armin, who is not in his big boy form at the moment, neither is Eren, just jumps over the table and throws a haymaker at his jaw, which I believe lands, but Eren is, as normal person form, Eren is much buffer and taller and everything than Armin. And so Armin gets a few good shots in, but Eren quickly turns the tables and has him pressed down onto the table and just starts beating the hell out of him. And he says, Armin, this is the reason why we've never fought before, because we all knew what would happen. And he just beats Armin bloody until something finally stops him. I think Mikasa finally like says something and he stops. And so, and all of that is not only to prove his physical dominance, but also this weird like machismo, like I was always stronger than you, don't act like you know anything about me or something. And so now in this last comic panel that they're talking, it's like, Eren, so you did all this to push us all away just so you could set us up as the heroes to save all of humanity? That's right. You're fucking stupid, bro. It's just the stupidest. Like, I know you're probably like 19 or whatever here, but still, myself as a 19-year-old would not have come up with something so fucking stupid like that, because there's no way that would ever work in any framework of geopolitics at all. Even if you're new to the whole concept of geopolitics after finding out about the world beyond the walls, that's still like some basic shit, especially after being embedded in Marley's society for like however many months when he was on the continent. It's like, oh yeah, these people are totally just gonna forgive the Eldians and now they're all friends again after like counter enslaving them for 100 years. Sure, bro, totally. So that's Eren's fucking stupid plan of why he tried to push away his best friends in a time when that whole scene should have been this epic heart-to-heart and confession of real feelings of everyone involved, including Mikasa. But no, instead it's that stupid shit. Let's go to the next leaked panel. Skipping ahead a bit, at the end of the comic, we have the people who survive all of this bullshit, which includes Pick, which is nice. And the Curse of Ymir is gone now, so she'll live full life, and Armin will live a full life, and Rhina survived, which is another thing I'm fucking pissed about. God, I fucking hate Rhina. I can't believe how many people flipped to his side because of either the time skip arc, or they just like thought he was a deep like anti-hero at some point back when he was having his like mental episodes after revealing who they really were. Like, what the hell, man? They started like all of this in the entire fucking story, kind of, as we'll cover later. I was just waiting for him to finally get eaten. I thought he was gonna get eaten here at the beginning of season 4.1, but no. Rhina survives all the way to the end. But you know who else survives to the end is John Kirstein. And this could be a good end for him. He might be one of the only winners at the end of the story. For reasons we'll go into shortly. Jumping back a bit, we have Armin walking up to someone who survived the nearby rumbling. And he says, "I'm Armin Arlert, an Eldian of Paradis Island. I'm the one who killed the Attack Titan, Aaron Yogurt." Which is like, cool, thanks. That's not gonna change anything, because you guys just literally genocided 80% of the world, like a 10,000 mile radius, or kilometer, whatever, around Paradis Island has just been trampled. Everyone trampled, like total civilian deaths, military deaths, everyone dead for so much of the planet. And then in the background of the shot, we have Mikasa walking away with Aaron Yogurt's head, and it's like, okay, so Aaron's dead. He's not coming back from that. Next panel. It's the soldiers that meet him, which look like regular Marleyan soldiers, and they appear to have their minds wiped. Maybe. This is proof that we are just humans now. We cannot transform into Titans. And the Marleyan guy's like, "What? Who are you again?" So I'm actually not sure of what the details on that are. Like, are all of them now, like, don't remember the Titans? Because that's not true. All the Eldians remember. So I think most of the world remembers the Titans still. At least Kirstein does, and Rhina does, and Connie does, and Annie does, and Pick, and all of them remember, that's for sure. And they have their lives back. The curse of Ymir is broken, which is pretty sweet. But came at a fucking high cost. Yeah, so we go back into one of these scenes where he's walking Aaron through the events, and Aaron's like, "Yeah, I don't know why I did this." Like, we are free now, kind of. Aaron sure doesn't seem free. He kind of seems like he was forced into doing all this, because at the very end, he has like this emotional breakdown over it all. "I'll erase your memories of the time you spent here. It's time now, Armin, for you to go." And that doesn't work. It really doesn't work, because he immediately tells Mikasa about it when he gets out. But anyway, he walks him back, and he says that all of this, even after obtaining the power of that rivaled god in front of her enemy who burned down her home. They're talking about the original Ymir, the first Titan shifter, the founding Titan Ymir, who got her power from this freaky fucking squid thing that just suctioned onto her spine in the bottom of a lake one day. Even after all this power, she continued to submit to King Fritz, who was the original Eldians or whatever, and they were just like some tribe that had enslaved Ymir's tribe, or just her specifically as a slave. And Armin's like, what in the world made her choose this? She continued to submit herself, even though she had this godlike ability, when she could have easily killed them all for what they did to her and her family and people. And Aaron's like, I encountered her in the Paths, and the Paths is probably the worst story point of the entire fucking series, because it's time travel and it's causality in the worst kind of ways. He fucks with both of them in a ways that like undo all of the moral like driving forces of the story. And I understood what she was feeling through Paths. It's hard to believe, but the founder Ymir, this little whatever 15-year-old girl, was in love with Karl Fritz. Fuck, man, the guy who enslaved her? The guy who kind of forced her to have 3 children by him? Oh, no, now she's in love with him. Oh my god. So are you telling me that all of Eldian history is fucking Stockholm Syndrome? Yes. Yes, it is. Armin just says, huh? And then Aaron replies, that's the true reason that Ymir's restriction, the curse of Ymir that you can't live past 13, has persisted for the last 2,000 years, is because apparently all of this has been Ymir's power fantasy? Or I don't know how you'd quite describe it, but like go back to us. Are we back? Oh my god. We can't interrupt this part. This has to go on the record. This is the most important part. Then we're back. Can we talk about Ruby next? Yes, although I might be behind on an episode. I don't know if I finished this season. I watched one big Ruby plot point thing, which was X character falling off of X thing. Are we back? You guys gotta tell me. Okay, let me check for myself. Oh my god.
No one thinks a natural disaster. No one thinks a natural disaster. No one thinks a natural disaster. No one thinks a natural disaster.
Okay, I think it's repeating infinitely. Anyway, so all of this time has been like Emir, like just like having some kind of psychotic, like a Stockholm syndrome slash like revenge fantasy desire of she needed to see someone kill the person they loved in order to like free, capital letters here, free her from this Stockholm delusional attachment to him. And once she saw Mikasa fucking slice Aaron's head off, then she's like, okay, I'm good. That was the fucking sauce I was waiting for. So now the squid this fucking worm can fall off of your back now or whatever, dry up and disappear from time. And the whole curse is lifted. No more Titans, no more Titan shifters, no more 13-year death clock. I got my payoff, my squeeze. I'm out. And that's it. She disappears into the void. Holy shit. Holy shit. Like 2,000 years of humanity living under like some kind of weird repressed, like, what, sexual fantasy of this like poor girl that got captured and enslaved and turned into like a broodmare, basically. Like, what the fuck? What? And so then Aaron kind of seems to like snap out of it. Like he's been a puppet boy master under Paths, which is her little cross history like control network with the use of this squid of unknown origins, who is the thing that created the Titans in the first place for no discernible reason either. Like, what the fuck was that thing? Can someone please explain? At least a little bit? Give a hint? Is it literally just the devil? But instead of a snake, it's, what is it? It's based on some sea creature that he saw on TV or whatever. And then there's the worst fucking panel of the entire series. The worst page. Which is Armin like, what the fuck, man? Like, obviously, like, okay, I guess everything goes on and you're dead now, right? And Mikasa will move on and we'll all be okay. And then Eren is sitting there in the waters of eternity or fucking Death Stranding or whatever. And he's like, no, I don't want that. I don't want her to find another guy. I want her to have feelings only for me. Even after I die, I want her to hold me in her heart for a long time. And the fucking look on Armin's face in the bottom right of the panel is, I see. But it's this look on his face like, what the fuck, bro? Why are you just saying this now? Which is my thoughts of, what the fuck, bro? Why are you just saying this now? She has been like thirsting after you since before she understood what thirsting was. Like, the connection there was so deep and complicated. And then just because you ask her some question like 10 pages ago or 10 chapters ago, like, what am I to you? And she's like, family. Because A, you caught her off guard. B, there's an audience. C, she's never had to actually voice these feelings before. D, she doesn't know how you feel about her either. And F, you're both too fucking awkward to just fucking say it to each other. So she says family, which is a great neutral term, which I'm sure would have led into the real answer eventually if you were just sat down somewhere by yourselves and having an actual conversation about your relationship. But no, she says family, and so the whole world has to die. And he even straight up fucking tells Armin as much of basically like, I don't know why I did this, but because of her answer or whatever, like, I guess he assumed like that door was closed to him now, like he couldn't have cottagecore life because she didn't say the right answer in 20 questions. And so I think that's when this image on screen happens, which is when Armin fucking decks him like he should have so many more times for this entire fucking chapter. But yeah, and then Aaron's like, please don't tell her I said that. It's just something so awkward, so... oh yeah, and then Armin's like, why would you say something so awkward, so blatantly? I didn't... And Aaron's like, I wanted to live happily, I really do, but, damn it. Holy fuck, bro. Holy fuck. Like, you had the power of the gods. And earlier in the chapter, there's a lot of other bullshit that people are complaining on forums and image boards and Mongolian throat thing forums and Facebook fan groups and everywhere else of all this other detailed shit like, you could have stopped your mother, Carla Jaeger, from being eaten by Dina Fritz. And you could have stopped Dina Fritz from, or you could have caused Dina Fritz to eat Bertolt before he broke down the walls, and she could have turned into a Titan, and she was already a Marleyan separatist and royalty, and all the whole timeline could have changed, but I guess it wouldn't have led to you, or whatever, and so it would have been too big of a change. You're like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Everything just like, you had the power of the gods, same as her, and you were the slave. Doesn't matter how much power you had, you were just living in the context of whatever this thing was that had you all like spun around its finger. This fucking fish in a lake at the bottom of a tree. And so you couldn't open your stupid mouth at one point and be like, Mikasa, I always loved you. As a sister, as a girlfriend, whatever, I love you and we need to always be together no matter what. And then she would have sploosh, and it would have very quickly become girlfriend, one way or another. So great job. Great job, man. So very last panel of the story, or one of the last panels of the last chapters, and you're like, oh, now I love her. Maybe you should have said something, bro. Maybe you shouldn't have left her with that whole pushing people away thing. Maybe you could have tried being honest with her and not come up with this whole flatten the world bullshit plan that was never going to work. And so now, as far as the way of things now, oh, this is even better. After he says the whole thing about Mikasa, Armin has this whole cutaway where we've been building up over the last arc of episodes where he has feelings for Annie, like, and Aaron even challenges him, like, is it really you or is it Bertolt after you ate him? And he's like, I don't know. I like her. Whatever. Fuck you. At least I'm honest about it. So he totally has feelings for Annie. And then after all this bullshit is over, it fucking works out for them. They're together, and he says as much to Aaron's face inside that dream paths walkway or whatever. He's like, hey, I'm happy. I'm with someone. Maybe you should have wised the fuck up earlier, idiot. So, and they get a happily ever after. There's no more fucking Curse of Ymir. You got their whole lives ahead of them. They're like, what, 21, 19, something like that? Amazing. Another big winner in all this is kind of. Her whole character died at the end of season 3, or, chapters, whatever, but fucking Farmer Coon. This random farmer that grew up around the village where Krista was raised when she was hidden away as a bastard, who like would always pick on them, kind of like, I don't know, an annoying boy down the street. And then she becomes fucking queen of his entire country and what he thinks his entire world. And then even after they learn the truth about the world, then she comes home and she's like, hey, even though you were always kind of a dick, I always kind of liked you. And so, bammo, he becomes the queen's #1 consort. They get married. He is, what the fuck do they call that? Prince Regent? Whatever. The person who is married to the queen. God, that's a fucking lottery win right there. That dude got a good ending. That's a good ending right there. So anyway, Farmer Coon and Queen Historia, assumedly, live a long, happy life, can have children, no more Titans, no more royal bloodline bullshit. They just have their little island as they await their deaths. As they await the impending genocide, counter genocide of their people, because they stopped the rumbling, but it had already destroyed 10,000 miles radius away from the island, which is like, when you look at it on the map, which is like an inverted world map, it's like literally half of the planet you killed. And in the comic itself, it says 80% of all humanity. Like, you're not making friendly relations off of that, bro. They are always going to hate you, even more so than they hated the Eldians before. Now you don't have powers to stop them. You're way behind technologically. Even if it has to take them a few years to get the right, like, blimps or airships or whatever, they will cross that 10,000 miles and they will burn you all to ashes because you just killed, like, half the fucking world. 4/5 of the fucking world. So, that's great. Good luck. It's a whole new arms race to see if they can advance their defensive technology before the outer lying countries with their offensive technology can bring hellfire down onto them. So good luck, bro. You better have some fucking good negotiators. So that's it. That's Attack on Titan. Holy shit. Holy shit, man. On one hand, I'm fucking stoked for Armin, because I always liked Armin. Ever since those early episodes, I was the same of like, this little blonde boy, he just wants to see the ocean, and he isn't like frothing with rage like Eren was. Eren was compelling because of his drive, because of this very logical reason of wanting to kill all the Titans after they killed his mother. But now this last chapter kind of undoes that, where it's like, you actually could have saved your mother because you were a Time Lord and you have control over the past, present, and future through this fucking paths bullshit. And you didn't do it. You already had Mikasa too. She already lived with you. Like, you saved her already. You could have changed things after that and you guys could have had whatever alternate future together. I mean, at the very least, you're fucking brother and sister, and she cares about you no matter what. And maybe you would have still met Armin somehow. Who knows? You could have pathed his way into your area one way or another. Because you were a god of time and you control everyone within your entire fucking race. Like, holy shit. This is why you have to be so careful with any kind of time travel or omnipotent powers or anything like that in fiction. You have to lay hard ground rules, very explicit ground rules, otherwise you get into all these unsatisfying questions like this. There's some guy's channel, I forget what his channel name is, called Writing Better Every Day, or that's very wrong, but anyway, he does a lot of videos about, like, developing magic systems for world building. What the avatar bending system got right. Things like that. I'm sure if you Google them enough, he has a lot of videos about writing on YouTube. And a lot of them are that same kind of thing. Like, you can't just do magic for the sake of magic. There have to be rules in place. And if there aren't rules, or if certain rules are specifically nebulous, you need to have a really fucking good reason why they're nebulous. And this whole last chapter breaks all of that, top to bottom. and it breaks the entire story, and it breaks the causality for season 1, which is his mother's death, and a whole bunch of stuff down the road with Dina Fritz and Bertolt, when he could have had Bertolt fucking eaten by Dina Fritz, which would have totally changed so many things, and that would have been a very, very nice lady colossal titan. Holy shit, man. Another possible winner in all this is good old, where's the image? Where... Oh, actually, no, I can't put the image up. We can't put the image up because that would, you know, that would mess with things. I think I have a picture of him somewhere, though. Where is he? Maybe I don't. Anyway, another possible winner in all this is John Kirstein. John Kirstein, who from the start has always had his own crush on Mikasa, now has a wide open path. A wide open path to that possibility because Aaron fucking cucked himself out of it for some reason. I don't know. You had the pen, dude. You could literally write history around what you wanted, and you didn't. So now John and Mikasa have, you know, however many years ahead of them, 60 fucking years, and they're probably gonna be 60 fucking years. So John Kirstein is a clear winner in all this. As we covered earlier, Armin and Annie are clear fucking winners in all this. Yeah, I think that's it. Connie and John are alive. Connie's alive. Pick is alive. Rhina is alive, which fucking sucks, but he lived. Falco is alive, which is good. And I guess Gabby is alive, which is good for his sake, because Falco was crushing on Annie from the beginning. Falco was kind of the Mikasa clone, where he has this undying love for her that she obviously doesn't return to him, or she's too fucking awkward to return to him. Maybe, I don't know. So maybe that was a good end for them. Levi survives everything, but just barely. Levi is not in the best shape at the end. He gets a lot of damage before lights out. See, that's a song reference there. But no, he doesn't get his lights out. He survives to the end, but he is in a wheelchair, so that kind of sucks. What else? Who lived and who died? The fandom died. And we found out who the true enemy of the series was, which is this guy. Isayama. So I don't know, man. One of the worst things he could have ever said was, like, I remember reading, I think a week ago, and he directly references the Game of Thrones finale when he's talking about his own finale. And I don't know what the context was. I think he was literally saying, like, I hope fans aren't disappointed in my finale like the Game of Thrones finale was. But just by saying that felt like priming the audience. Fucking priming the audience for what was going to happen. So... God damn it, man. Like, what the hell? Like, it has literally ruined the show for me. Like, after finding out, about the whole genocide subplot of the Jaegers, of we're just gonna castrate everyone and then we'll all die out and no one will totally just finish the job once we're too old to defend ourselves. Holy shit. After that, I didn't even watch the episodes for a few weeks until there's like 4 or 5 of them built up, because I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you guys are the villains now. Like, holy hell. Yeah, and then the whole kickoff of the season of Aaron's invasion of his basically solo-led invasion of Marley. Yeah, that ruined everything. That took all the other chips off the table. You set them irreversibly on a path of destruction. So, okay. I believe I only have one viewer, but good night, Roy Mustang. I'm sorry we couldn't talk about Ruby. Ruby's been an interesting season, but I've only watched it intermittently over the course of it all. Is it still recording? Like the Game of Thrones finale. All right, sweet, it is still recording. This is for all you future people. You future people who find your path back to this down the road. Okay, while we're talking about this, since it is in the name of the episode, I also want to go over another series that I recently finished. And to do that, I'm going to change the music. Copyright free. This probably works.
This is the checkers game where grand.
No, not commercial. No, skip. Okay, sure, this works. Actually, it's a bit harsh. Let's find a lighter music. Lighter music. Oh yeah, that's great. Okay. And now let's find an accompanying picture. There we go. That's a fucking great picture. Okay. As an example of a series that didn't fuck up the landing, we have Mr. Roboto, Domo Arigato. So, Mr. Robot, which is a series that aired, I guess, on USA Network or something. I don't know if it aired on USA because there's a lot of fuck words in the series. So, I don't know. Anyway, it's a really great show. One of the key writing concepts of the show is unreliable narrator. Literally, every 4 or 5 episodes, you get some kind of reframe where you're like, oh wait, we've been seeing this from a very subjective perspective, and the camera metaphorically pulls out a little bit, and you get a bit of a wider shot of, oh wait, this person is actually this person, and oh wait, this person hasn't actually been here at all. It's been somewhere else. And the whole show is like that for 4 seasons, which is actually pretty incredible. And are we going to do full spoilers? I won't do full spoilers, but I am going to talk about the ending, since that's what we're talking about is endings, because the ending gets stuck really well. And so the majority of the show, you have at the very beginning, Elliot basically bumps into Elliot is the guy on the right, Rami. I don't want to mispronounce it. I think it's Rami. I hope it's Rami. I'm sorry if it's not. Rami Malek. His character's name is Elliot Alderson. Thank God for an Anglo name. Who's the father character is played by Christian Slater. And anyway, he bumps into a homeless guy on the subway one day. He's just in New York, in Queens or whatever, and he's a hacker, a vigilante hacker guy. And you see some early episodes of him just doing busting pedophiles and other hackers, and he basically does his own vigilante Batman white hat hacking kind of crimes. But he does hack pretty much anyone he comes into contact with anyway. Even if they're just a rando, he'll be like, okay, what's all your information and your entire life and your credit cards and stuff? Just to have that information accessible to him in case it becomes important, which of course it often does. So anyway, he seems like a good guy. A little bit of social problems, which, might be expected for someone very deep into the computer science world. A little bit, spectrum or whatever. But you see, he's the hero. He is our hero. And then he bumps into this guy on the subway who just looks like a homeless person. And eventually the guy catches up with him, and he's like, hey, I know who you are. And Elliot's like, what are you talking about? Who are you? Go away. And he's like, no, you work at that security company, right? And he does. We see that Elliot's day job is actually as a as a literal like white hat computer computer security engineer, network security solutions for this big mega corporation, which is like fucking Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, everything all rolled in together. They call it E Corp. E as an epsilon, but most often in the show, a lot of the characters from his subjective perspective call it Evil Corp, which is very on the nose, but whatever. Evil Corp. They're the main data security firm that protects Evil Corp servers, but Elliot works for that firm, and he's also one of their smartest engineers. And so then this random package comes across him, and it's like, do you want to hack their system, basically? And that homeless guy contacts him, and he's like, we have a group that want to take down Evil Corp as much as you do, because Evil Corp killed his dad. And so he ends up getting involved with the group, and they plant a bug which basically encrypts all of Evil Corp systems, which brings the global economy like to a screaming halt, like 2008 on steroids, but in one day. The whole like global cashless data infrastructure just goes haywire because of what they do. And then we get a reframe of his perspective where it's like, oh, hold on a second, the homeless guy, Christian Slater, wasn't just some rando, it was his dad. It's been his dad this whole time. And then a few episodes later, we find out that it's not his dad either. It's a split personality. It's an image of his dad that he generated because his dad is dead. His dad is long dead already. And so eventually he talks about it to one of their other hacker people, which is the girl on the left, Darlene. And they have a lot of interactions over season 1. And so then at the very end, after they have their big celebration of taking down Evil Corp from the inside, he goes in for a kiss, and she shoves him away like hard, like much harder than he expected. And she's like, what the hell, Elliot? And he is totally confused. And then you see her expression sort of drop, and she's like, you forgot again, didn't you? And then wha-bam, there's the reveal that she's his sister, and has been his sister this entire time, but his fractured, broken mind just compartmentalized that away. She's just been one of the girls in their group up until this time. So now we are introduced to Darlene Alderson, his sister. And their relationship is the rest of the show. And that's one of the core heart of the show. She's his only anchor in reality for the most part. And this plays out in several different ways over the course of the next few seasons. He has an actual sort of girlfriend, this girl that he's known forever, this blonde girl, played by, what is the character's name? I forget. The actress's name is Portia Doubleday, which I think almost sounds like a character in and of itself. Anyway, what is the character's name? Allison? Emily? Fucking something like that. Something waspy. Anyway, so she is the romantic interest in the show, and Darlene is his sister, his blood. Their only anchor on reality, his only anchor on real reality for most of it. So then by the very end, so many other things happen that just prey upon his already fragile consciousness that he has a total breakdown. And really, like, all of these layers, all of these like fractured lenses that he's been seeing the world through, that we as the audience have been seeing the world through him, get torn away completely, and we wake up in like the best world. We wake up he wakes up in an alternate reality where everything is great. Like the love interest from earlier, instead of all their stuff falling apart, they're getting married. They're fiancés, and his life played out perfectly well. He had a great relationship with his parents. They all love each other. His parents aren't divorced. All that stuff is there. It's the perfect life, but he's watching it as an outsider. He's watching it as a clone, a duplicate, a less than, the evil clone, and he sees his good self living out this life, and he just wants it so desperately. And so he tries to replace himself in that good reality where everything played out the way it was supposed to. And fuck, it's so heart-wrenching. I don't want to spoil it. I really don't want to spoil it like I just spoiled Attack on Titan, because this is a good ending. And you want to watch, like, the show and get it all firsthand yourself, because it does this whole... Come back. All right. I think we're back. I heard the noise again. I think we're back. 2-hour mark. Wrapping it up here. So he has his this short respite, like a couple of days in the good world, the best world that he could possibly live, and he enjoys it for what little amount of time that he can, but then he gets broken out of that as well, and Darlene is the anchor, and that all works out for them, and a couple of their other friends it works out for as well, and it's just such a good end. It's very bittersweet. It is very sad. It has a lot of the depressing things that Isayama said that Attack on Titan might have, or alluded to, but they play out a lot better, and they make a lot more sense. And there's a lot more evidence leading up to them over the course of the story. So anyway, it's not an A-B connection, but these are two long series that now I'm basically seeing the end of the storyline of. And it's just so fucking sad, man. It's just so sad. I can't believe this is how Titan is ending. I loved this show. This is my favorite anime since since growing up in Full Metal Alchemist, basically. This has been my anime after college. As soon as I graduated from that, been, checking with this religiously, except for mainly it's been this, and then My Hero Academia on the side, and a bunch of other normie tier anime because I'm a casual. But I liked this. This was a neat show, but I haven't liked anything after the basement arc. After they read the journals, it's all gone to shit because Eren became the villain. And some people liked it, like there's a large contingent of people that were like, yes, Genocide Eren is the best Eren. And I'm like, well, no. First off, the Genocide character usually isn't the good guy, A. B, there was no way it was going to work. Even if they did trample the entire world, and so only the Eldians of Paradis Island worked, I don't know, man. Is that really... Obviously, that was an endgame you don't want to explore of, they're successful, and they're the only race left. No. They would live in eternal shame for, the rest of their existence. They would probably pull a King Fritz again and do the Zeke ending of, okay, we really do need to just die off and finish off the rest of the species because we're evil and we killed the whole world. It doesn't matter if it was just Eren. They would all take some kind of collective guilt, even if it wasn't imposed on them. So yeah, that would have been a bad end. And obviously the end that happened was still a bad end because you didn't finish it. You did a halfway job, and so now everyone who survives has the most prime, the most morally justifiable reason ever to come back after you again. So the cycle of violence continues. You're not going to close the technology gap in time. It's all over. It's really all over, no matter what kind of positive spin they try to put on it. So I guess hopefully he delayed it long enough for his friends, which seems to be his only real motivation at the end, was for all of them to live long, happy lives. So I guess until the day Mikasa dies and Jean with her, and Armin and Annie and all the others. Just a bad taste in my mouth. Just over the whole thing. It's like you didn't have to start this genocide war in the first place. You didn't have to pop into Liberia. Even if they were trying to gather a global army against you anyway, you would have still had the you would have still had the founding Titan, and you had Historia as a royal blood member, even if you didn't want to turn her into a Titan, and she got pregnant to keep you from turning her into a Titan or whatever. I don't know, man. I don't know. It just sucks. You had godlike control. You could have changed things. You could have changed history and made it not work out that way, where they were coming after you. You could have had it so Marley lost the war against the Mideast Alliance. And then all of that would be like the main like hatred threat against you would have been gone. Even if a lot of the other world didn't like you either, Marley were the bitter ones. They were the ones that really like enslaved you. So I don't know, man. It's just like, oof, I'm really disappointed. I guess I hope we get some good music out of it anyway. I'll keep looking around online, see when the season 4 soundtrack comes out and whatever, but it really is. It's like Game of Thrones for so many people, where it kind of poisoned the ending for me, where I can't even go back to the old stuff and enjoy it as well anymore, knowing how it ends. Like, I'm looking forward to rewatching Mr. Robot, but this is like, from episode 1, I just like, I don't know if I can start over and be satisfied with it. It's all just like so dark. Even accepting how things end up at the end for Armin and I guess John and kind of Historia, although Historia's original love was tall Emir, and she got eaten up by the Jaw Titan. So Historia had to settle with with the dude, with Farmer Coon. And Mika says she'll never get over it. She's still sitting by his grave, like, on a regular basis. Like, even if she does, like, move on and find someone else, it's like, just, like, she'll always mourn. She'll always mourn over this. Like, you can't forget this. You can never move past this. We'll torture her until the day she dies. Ugh. Disgusting. I wanted them together just for the sake of her, just so she could be happy, even though Eren really hasn't deserved her at all, because he was such a fucking dick to her this whole time. And I'm sure this sounds like just the most ridiculous, like, reasoning, but it's like, that's what it's all about, man. It's all about love. Like, why have freedom if it's not the freedom to love who you can love? Like, God. And he even says that more or less himself. And Armin is all disappointed, and he's like, that's cringe, bro. But it's like, it's mainly cringe, bro, because you could have done something about it. Like, you had this godlike power, and you still had to set up this ridiculous scenario just so Emir would get her like jollies off over this. Like, all of time, all of the story, and then the love life of the main character is held hostage by one perverse imagination of the Stockholm Syndrome, like, founder of the whole Titan thing to begin with. Holy fuck. Like, it's so screwed up. Anyway, I don't think there's anyone watching, and I don't know how many people actually come back to watch it later. Anyway, but I am going to give an update on the book that I've been writing. The book that I've been writing all year. I completed the rough draft manuscript. This will be a time capsule because it was only 2 weeks ago, basically. I wrote it between Christmas Day and March 25th, 3 months to the day. I finished the quote-unquote first draft. It's not really the first draft. Like, the first, like, 3/4 are on the second and third draft, and then maybe the last couple chapters are technically just the first draft. But it's a complete manuscript of my novel, and I'm so stoked. I'm so excited for it. So that's gonna be great. I'm already excited. I'm already doing editing. I'm already recording audiobook segment chunks, and yeah, we'll see how that turns out. Until then, to be honest, I'm not sure what's happening on this channel. I'm kind of waiting to see what the others are doing too, because I'm kind of busy with my own thing. I think a lot of them are busy with their own things too. I guess look for updates. I'm not sure when the next EAST Corp branded stuff will come out, but anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. Fallout Equestria Dead Tree is still going on, and I'm still the voice of Nyota over there. So if you want your horse, your nuclear horse fan fiction fill, go check out Shotgun Angel Productions, where that's going on. I'm still Nyota, and a lot of former and current EAST Corp people are over there doing stuff. So yeah, hopefully you guys have been having a good winter and spring and a good 2021 in general. Hopefully you're all safe and, you know, get a vaccine if you want, or wait if you're waiting. I know not all the vaccines are turning out exactly as they should be. AstraZeneca, get your shit together. So we'll see how that works out. For the most part, the world's still kind of shut down. Yeah. I'll still be tuning in for the Attack on Titan anime. Like, I'll probably still buy the dub Blu-ray of season 4 part 1, aka season 6, and I'll still tune in for the finale season, which animates all this shit, but it's like, ugh, I don't know. I really almost hope for like a Game of Thrones thing where I hope it ends differently, because I'm so dissatisfied with the way this version ended. I just want, like, I don't care if it's fucking schmaltzy. I like the schmaltzy. Real life is depressing enough. I want more good endings for stories. And it's like some people have this whole framework of like stories shouldn't have good endings at all. And I'm like, I don't know, fuck you. Like, you can have your sad stories and then put a fucking shotgun in your mouth at the end of it all, but I would like some happiness in this world, because there's enough of everything else. There's enough of the sad stories just in the newspapers and in the history books. God, I don't know. Anyway, that's my rant about the series as a whole, about the ending, all that shit. Hopefully you found it entertaining. I know I found it entertaining to talk about. I'll probably rewatch it once down the road and see why I talked about it at all. Probably before the Blu-ray comes out or the next season's airing or whatever. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. This has been EAST Corp Productions. More something or other will be on the way. Hopefully you've been enjoying the Wasteland Survival Guide that we finally wrapped up about a month ago. So we will talk to you later.